how do you explain what happened in Colorado to Deion?
You know what? I feel bad for him, man. I'd be in on the sideline just watching that train wreck. Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. They were the bug.
Yeah.
They got splattered. And even Deion came out and said, never had a whooping like that, other than from his mama when he was little. They gave up 422 yards rushing. They were down 43-0 at the half. Their quarterback is not very good passer, so when they become one-dimensional, they have no chance. Their offensive line couldn't protect. They gave up 7 sacks. This was a total debacle of college football. And I don't know how it happened because Colorado was pretty competitive last year with Shedeur and everybody else, and they figured to have NIL money to really compete with everybody else, especially Utah, for God's sakes. But this was a bloodbath. Robert Livingston, a defensive coordinator, couldn't call the right defense, and they couldn't execute, and they couldn't get a yard on offense. They had 120 yards of offense. Wow. I don't know what else you can say about it.
Yeah.
I know Deion's got a lot of soul searching to do. He's got to challenge his players, and they got to bounce back in a big way. And I imagine he'll get on a pretty good. Warren Sapp's the defensive line coach. They'll get after him and try to challenge him, and hopefully they'll bounce back next week.
Yeah, it was bad. Man, Utah had these old ass teams, man. I hate it. They lightweight cheating a little bit, man. They come with these old ass fucking Garrett Bowles type guy. Garrett Bowles coming in the league here, rookie, fucking 25. Like, their whole team is full of these guys who go do the retreats and shit. And it's grown ass men, like, you know what I'm saying? And they look like grown ass men playing Colorado. They just was way more physical to me. They out physical them boys, man. Rushed for 400. It was crazy. But, man, after a game like that, man, you don't even watch that shit. You go get you a lift hand on Sunday, bury that fucking tape, and have a meeting, set some new goals, try to get you to a bowl game, man. So it's really just no explanation for real.
Yeah, it was a combination of a lot of things. I went back and watched the game. I mean, and I love Coach Prime. He's a great leader, and he got up in the press conference after the game and said, hey, that's 100% on me. That's on me. That's my fault. There is some truth to that when you're a coach and you get outplayed and outcoached like that, but that's not 100% the case in this game. That came down to the guys that Utah had and the guys that Colorado has right now, or that they don't have yet. And they were dominated in the trenches, 420
dominated,
yards
bro. It
of
looked
rushing.
like little babies.
I mean, they no penetration, no gap integrity. They were getting just washed down the line. They were getting blown 3 or 4 yards off the ball. Not even double teams, Jay.
Nah.
He had one-on-one blocks, and guys were getting blown about 4 or 5 yards off the line. It's just tough. Kyle Whittingham, though, he's been there for a long time. He's recruited guys. He's developed guys. He has guys that are staples on his team. He knows what Utah football looks like. Coach Prime hasn't had the time to do that yet, especially on offense. They've got to get some things figured out. Like you mentioned, they gave up 7 sacks. They only have 38 yards rushing, Coach. 38 yards rushing the entire game, and their quarterback play was bad. They were 3 of 16 on 3rd down. You're not going to win a lot of games like that, but they have to get the quarterback situation figured out.
Yeah.
This team is nowhere near the same without Shedeur Sanders, and it just shows you how important he and Travis Hunter were to that offense. Without them, they don't have anybody yet that quite has that it factor. And I've had some confidence going into the year with the Caden Salter kid. He transferred from Liberty, damn good player. I watched his tape at Liberty. Good quarterback. I thought he was an athlete, could throw the football well. I thought he was going to fit in perfectly. First couple of games, doesn't play well. They make a change and go to Ryan Staub, who's the backup. He plays 2 games, beats Delaware, then gets blown out against Houston.
He did.
Right back to Salter. And then he plays well, does some things. Well, they beat Iowa State, I think, which was a ranked opponent at the time. And then this game, he goes 9 of 22 for 38 yards and an interception. And he threw intentional grounding that led to a safety. Just bad football. They've got to get that figured out. But the biggest question for me right now with this team is they also have another guy in that room. And that's 5-star true freshman Julian Lewis. He was supposed to go to USC. Then he flipped and went to Colorado. I'm just interested why we haven't got to see him yet. He's played a couple snaps, but he hasn't got the chance to be the starter. And I think it's because of 2 reasons. One, that jump from high school to college is big. And if a guy's not ready, Coach Prime knows I'm going to protect him, let him develop. I don't need to throw him out there. They're also 3-5 right now. The season's over. He got 4 games left. I expect maybe he wants to protect that red shirt so that he has an extra year of eligibility going forward. But back to my main point. Kyle Whittingham, that Utah football team, they've developed for a long time. Coach Prime hasn't had the chance to do that. And you guys know as much as anybody right now in this era of football, you've got to get guys and you've got to develop guys and you've got to have retention because the transfer portal right now, teams, it's just crazy right now in the college football world. And before Coach Prime got there, they had 1 winning season.
How long has Cignetti been at Indiana?
I'm sorry, what?
How long has Cignetti been at Indiana?
Okay, great. But I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. Okay, well, you talk about Cignetti. You talk about, there's guys you can talk about, what's his name at Oregon, You can talk about him. You can talk about Marcus Freeman, guys that are at better programs right now that have had success before. I know Indiana hasn't been a powerhouse, but he also brought over 70 guys when he first got there. He completely changed that entire
I'm not trying to discount.
and he has more resources.
That's college football now. You can turn a program around in a year.
But Colorado's been irrelevant for the last 2 decades maybe, and now you throw Coach Prime in there and you expect in 2 or 3 years for him to completely turn around. Jay, they were 1-11 the year before Deion got there. They had 1 winning season in the last 2 decades. Like they were. I played against Colorado in the Pac-12. That was a bad football team for a long time. And then you bring Coach Prime over, and they got to compete with NIL. The Big Ten, Indiana, those schools have a lot more resources than you do right now in the Big 12 or if you're Colorado. They're getting there, but it's going to take time. So again, look, I'm not completely defending him. I understand you got there.
Utah a good team, man. It's not like Utah just a good football team, bro.
And they've built a culture for a long time.
43-0 at the half.
So watching that game on Saturday night just hurt my heart. But I kept watching it just to see if they could have a semblance of credibility in the second half, which they couldn't. And
Do you have your tissue?
I'll disqualify myself because I know Deion well, and I believe in him. I do believe he could coach in the National Football League, and I think he will at some point. But what blindsided me was probably what blindsided Deion was that they had just beaten 22-ranked Iowa State. They beat them at home, and they beat them pretty. I watched the whole game. It was pretty. It wound up 24-17, but it wasn't that close.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, this team is turning the corner with Caden Salter, he's small and short.
He is.
And I'm with you. I thought that Juju Lewis would be the starter from moment one this year because that was a big coup for them, man, because he was going to Georgia, then he was going to USC. He's from the Atlanta area. It was a big signing for them, where it's one of those that re-jumpstarts it after Shedeur. And clearly, Deion thinks that Juju just is not ready. And they gave him a few snaps, and that's it. He's not going to let him play, I guess, the rest of the year. The way, because they tried the white kid, that Ryan Staub at Houston, and it was a disaster. And so this is what gets me. And you can say I'm going to make too much of this, but I don't think so. So remember what happened Shedeur's first year there. So they go to Colorado and have like the win of the year, big upset of the year of Colorado, who had been in the national championship. TC had been in the national championship game. So they go win 45-42 in the opener. Then they beat Nebraska, which was a pretty big deal at that point, 36-14. Then they have the double overtime against Colorado State, and they're 3-0. They are the talk of the nation at that point. And they're on their way to Oregon. And you could see Dan Lanning's pregame speech that got out after the game. And the quote was, he told his team before the game, "The Cinderella story is over. They're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins. There's a difference. This game ain't going to be played in Hollywood. It's played on the grass." And it was played on the grass, and ass got kicked. And it was 42-6 Oregon. And that was kind of the end of that fairy tale. Okay, so there's a coach who was resentful of the way Deion was coaching his football team. You know, they're all about social media clicks. They got a DJ in the locker room before the game and at halftime and obviously after the game. And so he's saying, that ends here. We're going to put a stop to that right now. And I believe that Saturday night, Kyle Whittingham was right out of the same mold because he's been there now for 22 years at Utah. And I just think deep down, he's like, watch this, Deion. I'm going to put you in your place. Because I tweeted late in the first half, is it possible to be accused of running up the score before halftime? Because they're calling timeouts. What's that?
That's bad.
Okay, well, what? Because
that's what they was doing.
Okay, they were calling timeouts just to get the ball back so they could kick a long field goal. And they did. They pulled it off to make it 43-0 instead of 40-0. And they interviewed Coach Whittingham coming off the field, and I don't remember anything he said except he was really full of himself. He was just like, we can't play any better than we played in this game so far, and now we got to do it again, blah, blah, blah. But Deion, is an easy target for a lot of coaches who just say, no, we don't do it that way. We're going to show you. So I think that's a show you kind of game where he's going to run it up in the first half on Deion Sanders. That's just me.
And my point back to that, Coach, was I get that Indiana was in a bad place before Cignetti got there, but when he came from, I think, James Madison, correct? Is that where he was at before?
Brought a bunch of players.
He brought all of his guys.
Yeah.
Sanders, yeah, Coach
Madison
Prime brought some of it, but they have a foundation and a winning culture, and they understand what to expect from him. Coach Prime, yeah, he got some good guys in the transfer portal. He brought over Shedeur, he brought over Travis Hunter, but it takes time to build a winning culture at a place that hasn't won in a long time and doesn't have the resources available to them to win.
I agree with you 100%. I just think this day and age in college football is going to be like that every year. I mean,
Oh,
you're
no
gonna have
doubt.
25, 30, 40 new guys every year.
Yeah, but you got to get a quarterback. That's what Prime got to. He had a quarterback because it was his son.
Yeah.
So I got a top quarterback in the nation because he ain't going nowhere but with me. Now Prime got to get a quarterback. Now
Hard
the
to get
top quarterbacks in the country, it's hard to get them to come to
Colorado.
opposed to Alabama.
Show me
Colorado
money,
opposed to.
Steve.
Yeah.
But
Maybe he doesn't have the money.
if he do got the money, you think Ohio State can't show you more?
Yeah.
Or Oregon, they gonna show you
Oregon.
What Prime giving you? 3.5. We give you 4.5.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's bidding wars at this point. So he got to find a quarterback. It's a quarterback-driven league. Once he find another quarterback,
Hey,
he gonna be right back in the show.
I think he's the
5-star guy.
top-ranked recruit in the country. The quarterback.
He thought he found him, but
Julian
evidently,
Lewis? Yeah, he was
evidently,
He got a 5-star.
Yeah, he was
evidently
5-star.
he ain't. It's not it because he see it closer than we see it.
Okay.
If he was the guy, he would have put him in.
Okay, I know money talks, but have you been to Boulder before? Because it is beautiful, man.
Yeah,
I know.
Their facilities are spectacular.
Yeah, these kids don't give a fuck about that.
But they exactly, and what they want to do, like these kids want to play in college football playoff,
money.
and Colorado's not there yet. The money, yes, is one thing, but
Right.
you're not just gonna like. It's not a team
wanna
full of
lose.
high-paid players. The other guys, the second-level guys, those core group of guys, they want to go somewhere where they can play in the college football playoff and compete for conference championships. I think they can get there under Coach Prime. They're just not there yet. So if you don't have the money, you're not getting these top guys. It's tough to get those second-level guys. They're just going to go there because they want to go live in Boulder and maybe win a Big 12. They want to see results first. They're going to get there, and I know you give them a hard time or they give them a hard time for the clicks, but I promise you that resonates with kids nowadays. They
Hell
want
yeah,
to
it
see
do.
that stuff,
Yeah.
and that means something to them. Dan Lanning making that comment. Look, I'm USC guy, so I'm not a big Oregon fan, but man, they break out new jerseys every game. They do videos. They do all that shit. Everyone's doing it. So the fact that that's being used against Coach Prime, I'm not on board with that, but give it a couple of years. I believe Coach Sanders
he'll
will
build it
figure
up.
So you think kids don't care about playing for Deion Sanders?
Nah, kids don't care about the facilities. Yeah, you bring them on visits and show them the facilities and show them the beautiful cities and all that shit. At the end of the day, they want you to show them how much money we getting.
Or if you're going to win a championship.
Man, fuck all that.
You don't even care
How
about
much money we getting, man? Coach, so yeah, all right, so let's sit down and talk NIL.
Yeah, the top guys are. I'm saying that second-level guys.
The second level guys too.
Yeah, they're all doing it.
They are doing it. The second level guys.
You got to
get
have,
checks, too.
you got to have the money to
Yeah, exactly.
facilitate all
Second
that.
level guys get paid too. All of them get
At the
paid.
big schools,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So,
Yeah.
They'll
so
go
it is
play.
what it
They'll
is.
go play for Skip as a head coach.
If I can go to Ohio State as a second level guy, or I can go to
can do it.
Colorado as
Can
a
I be your
second level
offensive
guy,
coordinator?
I'm probably
Did you
going to
hire
go to
me?
Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
As
go.
my
Simple as
play
that.
call.
But you, okay,
thank
no,
you.
go back to that though. But you as a
You're the only
DB,
guy.
Me as a DB.
take away everything you know about Coach Prime personally, but I'm saying knowing Deion Sanders is the head coach of Colorado, you would still take the money at Ohio State before going to Colorado and playing for Prime.
Man, if I could get $500K and go to Colorado and play for Coach Prime, or I can get $500K and go to Ohio State, shit, I might pick Ohio State.
Wow, okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's just
And
the
I don't
show.
disagree. I get
That's
what you're
the
saying.
show. You know what I'm saying? I
It's
wanna
the
go to
reality of
show.
college football right
You know
now.
what I'm saying? I can go get coached by Prime, and I know Prime gonna put me on and have the right eyes on me, right? Or I can just go to the fucking show, and I
Yeah.
know the right eyes on me because we're gonna be
Yeah.
in the playoffs. We're gonna be in, you know what I'm saying? So
Good point.
Man, Deion's not going to be happy with you.
Deion know that's my guy. You know,
But yeah,
Deion know
he's
I'm
your
just
guy.
I'm
Oh.
speaking. I'm speaking as a
But Coach-
kid.
Unbiased,
Prime no leave.
yeah.
I'm going with Prime. No, I'm going with Prime. But I'm speaking as a kid in that position. Shit, I'll probably go to the show.
And that's what Coach Prime, he knows that too. Coach
He know
Prime
that.
knows that's what he's competing
Yeah.
against right
Yeah.
now around the country.
That's exactly what he's competing against. So
Yeah. So we're
you got to
100
build
other
it up,
schools.
man. You got to build it up.
All right, let's
So we're
bring
100 other schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back to the NFL because I want to talk. Skip, I know you're not a Kirk Cousins fan, but I am. I love.